Hi everyone, Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room today stamping with you to make this cute easel card. And it stands up like this. Now you can't see it very well, so let me tip it up to the camera. There you go. So it's kind of like a tiny easel card, but the butterflies pop up. This card was originated by Lori Kietzelman, and I got it from Mitosu Crafts. So here's the recipe. Those of you that belong to my club, you'll be getting a copy of this recipe in with your card kit. We're going to use Memento ink, Granny Apple Green, Seaside Spray, Purple Posy, and Flirty Flamingo inks. Now Seaside Spray and Purple Posy are two of the new 2019 to 21 in colors. I love it. I was lucky enough that my Purple Posy stamp pad is behaving properly, but Stampin' Up! Is having an issue with Purple Posy, and right now it's on hold, and it's not orderable because there's something going on with the ink formulation, so they're trying to get it fixed up, and it'll be available in the future, hopefully real soon, but we haven't had any date yet. But meanwhile, those of you that are coming to my club on June the 5th, you'll be able to use it because mine is working fine, I think. All right, enough. Okay, so there's the card. We're going to use the Butterfly Beauty Thinlits. I'm making this on the 26th of May, and these items are still available in a bundle right now until the 3rd of June, and then they're going bye-bye. So the stamp set we're using is Beauty Abounds and the Butterfly Beauty dies, the two big ones. Now, did I show you the inside? I don't think I did. There's the inside. So this is the little part. This part is popped up on dimensionals so that it has something to rest against when it's popped up. And here's the envelope. So there we are. All right, let's get going. I think I have everything out and ready to go. We'll see. Sometimes I think I do and I really don't. So in the kit, we have the envelope. We have a thick Whisper White card base. We have a whole bunch of pieces here. Hang on till I figure it out. Okay. Base. Two pieces of basic black and one piece of Whisper White at 5.5 by 4 1/4, and you need the full size to use the dies. And then we have for the inside, let me get the recipe out here so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so for the inside we have a piece of Whisper White that's 4 by 4. And for the outside, we have a piece of Purple Posy that's 4 by 4, and a piece of Whisper White that's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So let me. I have cards that I have to make up for my out-of-town people. That's why I've got so much cardstock in my hand. Okay, and for the inside, there's a piece of Purple Posy that's 1 by 4, and a piece of Whisper White that goes on top of it that's 7/8 by 3 7/8. I know, I'm sorry. This is confusing. Okay, and there's also a piece of Purple Posy that's 1 by 4 and a piece of Whisper White that's 7/8 by 3 7/8 for the front. So I'll show you what I mean. So there's one piece of Purple Posy and Whisper White, and there's another piece of Purple Posy and Whisper White because there's a score line there. And remember, it's going to sit like this when it's open. So let's carry on. All right, put this stuff off to the side. Ah, just dropped my cardstock on the floor. Hang on. Okay, so I want the 2 pieces of basic black and the 1 piece of whisper white. Now the adhesive sheets are no longer available. So I'm going to be making this card without the adhesive sheets so you can see how to do it. So the basic black one is the big one. See, there's a skinny die and a fatter die, and they layer over top of each other. And the fat one goes at the back. So we need to cut 2 basic black ones. And I know what I did forget. My brush and mat. So I can get these out of the die quickly. All right. So get my Big Shot magnetic platform. Turn my pad over and get the first die on here, and we'll run that through the Big Shot. And I've discovered if you go really slow and give the cardstock a time to get cut by the die, that usually running it through once works. So there it is. Now before I take it off, I'm just going to turn it over and make sure it's cut. And it hasn't. So then you take it and you kind of orient it in a different direction, just so the Big Shot is hitting it at a different angle. And I'm going to run it through again with the cutting die up. And once again, go nice and slow. You don't want to whip it through, because then you're not giving things a chance to cut. And there we go. See, it's cut a little bit better. I'm a little worried about these pieces here. I'm not quite sure that they've cut properly. So I'm just going to throw that away. And before I take it out of the die, I'm going to get my pokey tool and try one of those spots. Oh yeah, see, it's coming up. There's not a problem. All right. So I put my magnetic platform down. Get this out. Oh, didn't mean to cover up that card, sorry. And now use your brush and foam mat just to get it out of the die, and it loosens up a whole bunch of those itty bitty little pieces too, so you don't have a lot to punch out. Now in the new catalog, you're not going to see this brush and mat combination anymore, because it retired in the 2018 to 2019 catalog, because of it's made by Sizzix. But what Stamping Up has done is brought one of these out that fits the end of the take your pick tool, so it'll slide in here, so it will look like this. And then it still comes with a piece of foam as well. All right, so now it's going to put this to the side just so I can make sure that I've got all the little pieces out. I cut my finger last night. You'll never believe how I cut it. I was cutting ribbon, and I cut it with my scissors, my ribbon only scissors, and I only use them for ribbon and fabric. And I got a little cut. I was chopping. Yeah. My grandchildren laughed at me, because I'm always telling them, be careful, don't cut yourself. Yeah, and then Grandma goes ahead and cuts herself. All right, so here's number 2, basic black number 2. Just going to stick that on there and cut it out. Go slow. And then, because I know this probably hasn't cut, I'm just going to take it out and flip it over, and I'm going to flip it over, orient it the other way, and run it through again, just because it'll just save me having to try it again. So very slowly. You could like sing a song or something while you're doing this. When our youngest grandson was here on the weekend, our northern son's favorite song is I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. He has a hippopotamus tattooed on his leg. And it has crazy eyes. It's the cutest thing. It's orange, of course, because orange is his color. So we were sitting at the breakfast table and grandson decided he wanted to hear the whole entire I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas song. So we pulled it up on the phones because thank goodness for the internet. Because I don't know about you, but I can't remember all of the words to it. So there it is. And I'm just going to pop it out of the die. Yeah, so we were listening to I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas at the breakfast table. That was cool. I love that song. I don't know about you. And then last night we were going through a bunch of old pictures. And when our children were probably 6-ish, we went to a place called the Enchanted Forest in the interior of British Columbia. And it's really cool. It's at Three Valley Gap. And it's been closed for years and years, but it's only just opened. Anyways, we were on a trip. And then we stopped at Kamloops to do the game farm. And there was hippopotamuses there. And we took pictures of the hippopotamus. Is it hippopotamuses or hippopotami? Anyways, there was more than one. And last night when we were going through these old pictures, we found one of those hippopotamus pictures. So our northern son snafu'd that one to take home with him. Because he likes his hippopotamuses. I do too. I think they're cute. Anyways, I'm just poking out these extra little pieces because I didn't get them all out when I was using the brush and pad set. And I probably should have just done it again, but, you know, hindsight. There, now I have 2 black ones. I'm just going to get rid of all the little pieces hanging around. And then we have to prep the white cardstock before we cut the die out of it. Okay, so pardon me. Oh dear. So my spare paper, my piece of 5.5 by 4 1/4 cardstock. Now if you look at this, it's sponge, Flirty Flamingo there, Granny Apple Green there, Purple Posy, and some Seaside spray. So let's start with Flirty Flamingo, and we're just going to, and a sponge. Okay, there they are. So you just want to sponge in quarters. Oh yeah, after telling you in the last video to always make sure you take off the first glob of ink. There it is. I didn't do it. Oh well. So there's the Flirty Flamingo. And put that to the side with the sponge. Get the Granny Apple Green. Oop, just stuck my finger in it. Thank goodness for black pants. And I'm not taking too much care in this. You don't want to overlap it too much because green and Flirty Flamingo will eventually make brown mud for you. I don't want brown mud. Alright, there's Flirty Flamingo. Now we'll get some Seaside spray, a beautiful light blue. Really cool. And I think I'm going to do a little bit less than I did on this one. I like more Purple Posy, and I did quite a bit of Flirty Flamingo, so. Just get a good cover of some Seaside spray here in the corner. And remember to do it in a either circular or back and forth motion. If you do this like pounce it like that, you're going to get a completely different look, which is okay if that's the look you're going for, but that's not the look that I'm going for. And last but not least, a little bit of Purple Posy. I sure hope they are able to fix the issues real soon, because this is a gorgeous color. And it works so well with the Highland Heather and gorgeous grape. Look at that. Isn't that a phenomenal color? Whew. All right, close this one. And then we're going to get the platform out. Flip this over. It's got a bit of a wow in it. And get the other die. So this is the narrow die. And I'm going to go down as far as I can because I want most of the... I got a little bit too much Fleur de Flamingo in there. So let's just play with it till we get it kind of... Oops, that one's over a bit. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to run this one through the Big Shot just the same way I ran the last one. Nice and slow. Takes a little bit of arm strength. And now I'm just going to turn it. Or not. Apparently it didn't want to release from the plate. Come on, let go. All right then. I don't think I have to worry about this one. Let's see. But because the die came out, now how am I going to use the brush and pad? So let me just bring this in and line this all up again. There. You could feel it go down into the holes where you have the die. I don't think it all got cut. I'm going to have to run it through again. We'll just give it a brush and see what happens. You kind of have to be a little bit gentle with this one. It's quite thin. Especially the, I was going to say antlers. No, the antenna. Especially the antenna. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't check and make sure this is oriented properly, so let me just sneak in here and check it. And this bottom butterfly, I don't think it's cut out properly. So I'm just going to line it, oops, come back here. Line it all up again. And I'm going to run this bottom corner through again. Get rid of that. Be careful when you do this because there could be shards of plastic sticking up from that cutting plate, and believe me, you get one of those in your fingers, you know about it. Alright, I'm just running this through again to recut the bottom butterfly. That's a bit better. There we go. Alright, get rid of that die. Just finish popping out most of these pieces. Uh-oh. Okay, I have to be careful now because my antenna doesn't appear to have cut through properly. But you know, all you need is a bit of persuasion, holding your tongue in a different direction, and I'll just pop that extra piece out with my scissors when I get it. Okay, let's see if I can get a few more of these out. You can do this without the die, you just have to be careful not to push too hard. And I'm kind of pouncing more than pushing. Now I have that hippopotamus song going through my head. Uh-oh. Ooh. Gotta be careful of that antenna. I just about broke it right off. It's a good thing it's going on top of a piece of black. Okay, now I have to take the little itty bitty ones out. You know, if I had this done before, It would have been a little bit faster, but that's okay. You can see it doesn't always happen fast for me either. Man, I hope that song goes away soon. I'll be singing it at the dinner table too. Apparently I burst out in song a lot, and I'm not the best singer in the universe. Yeah. Sure I'm not. But I did read somewhere that when a child bursts out into spontaneous song, it's because he's happy. They are happy. I say he because we only have grandsons. They're happy. They're a happy child. So I've been singing to grandchildren since they were teeny tiny itty bitty, and now they love singing. We don't do it in public. We tend to keep our singing to our family, a little on the private side. Okay, now get that out of the way. Oops. All right. Now we cut 2 black ones because this has to stand up rigid. And you could probably use thick whisper white for this, but I didn't. So we're going to layer the 2 black on top of each other, and then we're going to lay this on here like that. So we'll do the black one first, and I'm going to use Tombow for this. If you have some adhesive sheets, you're lucky, because they're all sold out. I'm hoping that that's one of the items that Stampin' Up! Brings back when it gets all of its new stuff redone, because it's redoing the paper trimmer and the die cut machine. So we'll see what they come up with. I'm just putting adhesive on the bigger bits and the antennas, because you don't want your antenna flying all over the place. Now, the secret to Tombow and not having it gloop out everywhere is to put it on and let it sit and go clear. Then it turns into a whole bunch of little glue dots. Okay, so I'm just going to take my scissors and move this out of the way while it dries, because we have to do the black on black anyways. So that's black on black. And now I'm going to do the same thing to the white one. And you don't do both black ones, because the only part that is attached in the black, or in this, when you get all 3 layers together, is the bottom, because it has to be able to pop up. Don't forget to do tails and antenna. It doesn't take long to do this. And while you're doing this one, the other one is drying, so it works out quite well. So the big areas. And this is that broken one, so I'm going to make sure I get quite a bit of glue on that so it doesn't break off completely. And his body and the antlers. I don't know whether I did those antlers or not, but we'll do them again. A little time consuming, my apologies. I should probably be had this already done, but I didn't, and I have to make do with it. Okay, let's see if I missed any spots right there. There, that looks good. So now I'm going to put my lid back on my glue, and move the white one out of the way and bring the black one in. And you can see now that it's clear. Can you see it shining there? It's clear, except for that one spot up there, and that's okay. We don't have an issue with that. So now I'm bringing in my other black one, and I'm going to start lining this up. And you want to go ever so slowly and kind of play with it as you're putting it down so that it lands directly on top of each other and the antennas are on top of each other. This one's not. It needs to go over a bit. Come on. You do have time to play. It's not cast in stone when you do it this way. There's a little bit of wiggle room. Oops. This one needs to be moved over a tad. There we go. That's better. And this one. There. See, it doesn't take much to get it all lined up. You just have to start from one corner and work your way around and do it slowly. The center's a little off, but that's okay. All right, so now we're going to bring the white one back, and it's gone clear as well. It doesn't take long when you put it really thin. If you have it a little bit thicker, it will take longer. Okay, so I'm just starting at the bottom again and making sure these things all line up. The antenna is a good place to keep an eye on because that'll tell you whether you're lined up or not. And this one's out a bit, but easy to get back in. There you go. And we did that all without the adhesive sheets, so it's not too bad. Okay, this is gluey now, so it's going away. All right, so we have, this is the piece for the front. 4x4 purple posy and 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now we're going to use the subtle embossing folder and run this through, which means I have to take my magnetic plate off and put my platform on and my shim, and then we'll put the embossing folder in Big Shot and run it through. Go slowly to allow the paper time to bend and play and whatever needs to be done. Now I'm getting an itchy nose. There we are. Subtle's embossing folder, my favorite embossing folder, because man, you can get such a pretty background, and then it's directional, so you can use whichever one you want. There's no right or wrong side to it. Just putting on some tear and tape here so we can start building our layers, and then we have a little bit more stamping to do for the inside. Burnish it down so it's easier to pull up the rabbit ears. Not easy. You can always use pokey tool like that. If you have acrylic nails, it's really hard to do this because you have to get your nail down under there, and acrylic nails are just too thick to do that. So that's when a pokey tool comes in handy. And if you don't have a pokey tool, you won't be able to buy one anymore. You're going to have to use the take your pick tool, because it has pokey tools on it. Okay, they're not called pokey tools, except in my world. They're called paper piercers. See, I don't even remember the name. Okay, so now we have this little strip down here that needs to be done the same way, and just make sure that you're using your stripes in the Subtle's embossing folder going the right way. You could probably put these both in together and do them both at once, but you know, I didn't think about that. So mine are getting done separately. Oh well. Such is life. All right. There we go. Run that through. Little piece out. And then I'm going to make sure that I've kind of got the same side out, because the sides are different. It's just that there's no right and wrong. It can be whatever side you like. And just make sure you have the same side on both of them. And need a little tiny piece for the end. Okay, and I'm going to take that one off altogether, because there will be no rabbit ears. And after I just told you how easy it is. There it is. Okay, so the sticky end is here, and I'm going to hold on to it so it doesn't stick down until I want it to stick. I'm going to line this up with this one, and then line up the white at the same spot, just so you have continuity between the top of the fold and the bottom of the fold. There you go. All right, that's that done. Now your card base. The card base is 11 by 4 1/4. Then you score it at 5 1/2, and let me just get it, 5 1/2 and 9 3/4, so that you have a fold down at the bottom. And before I fold anything, I'm going to put my paper on, because it's a lot easier to put on to the card base when it's flat than if you already have it folded. So if you're part of my club and you are just opening your kit, you'll notice that I didn't fold on that score line. I just left it, so it's easier for you to put your pieces on top. Sorry. Sometimes I don't know where my thought train goes. It's like it leaves the station and there's nobody in the cars. Okay, so now I want to up and down, and I'm just going to pay attention to this score line here, because you want to get it centered between the top and the score line. So not only was it a big weekend that we had our northern son and our northern grandson down, but there was a cruise ship in Port Alberni for the first time in 6 years. And we never got a chance to go down there because I was involved in a fundraiser for our other grandchildren's school. So I didn't get to go down to the quay and see all the people coming in. So see, I've got it too long there. I'm going to fix that by pulling up the liner. And then I'm just going to fold it back like that. I need just a tiny piece for the other side. Yeah, so apparently they had a good time. There was lots of people meandering around town, and they had native entertainment and all sorts of stuff down there. Apparently it was quite cool. It's coming into town 3 times this year. I don't think I'm going to be home for the other 2. I don't remember the dates, but I think one of them is while we're on our Stampin' Up vacation in July. I can't remember, but that's okay. Okay, so there's our front put together. Now I'm not going to put the butterfly on yet. I'm going to do the stamping and stuff on the inside. So I'll just open it up to show you what it looks like. We need this piece, and we need this piece, and we need this and this. I just took the sponges off so we can stamp. So Flirty Flamingo and the stamp from Beauty Abounds. Love this stamp set. Oh, and my spare paper. Put this on the top. So I'm just going to stamp part of it on here. So you kind of line it up somewhere around here, but leave enough room at this end to put a green blob and a butterfly. So there's that. And this one, this is the inside. And this is square. It's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. I'm just going to stamp that on the side. There we are. Get that out of the way and get the Granny Apple Green so we can do some blotches. Now let me check. Can you even see the blotches? Because I got it quite far over there. There we are. So if you're part of the club, here's the June club code to use. If you're not part of the club and you'd like to place an order, please contact me or check out my Facebook page for my current host code. I use them, the Stampin' Rewards from the host codes, to get stuff to share and give away. I have an ongoing draw board. That's the blotches. So with every $60 you order from me, $60 or more, you get at least one entry on the draw board. Now if you order 120, you get 2, and 180, you get 3, and yada, 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 on and on and on. And then when the board is full, I draw for something. And this time, what do I have? We have, there's a punch box and a complete set of acrylic blocks, or a stamparatus and a case for it. Now one thing I didn't stamp while I was there was the envelope. So here's the envelope, and I'm just going to pull my envelope in and do that stamping while I'm thinking about it. Oh, and I haven't done the sentiment yet. Okay, that's okay. I'm not getting lost. I know what I'm doing, honestly. I know what I'm doing. Sometimes it doesn't look or feel like I know what I'm doing, but I do. It all gets done in the end. Okay, so that's the floral spray. Now we'll put a few blotches to fill in some of the spots. And I'm kind of doing them on top of those swirly things so it looks a little bit like the leaves. Make sure it's closed. Get my memento back out and put some butterflies on it. One there. And how about one right there? There we are. There's the envelope done. Now I got to get the little piece that I stamped here, because this one I did hello. This one I'm going to do for you. Now these are sentiments out of the same stamp set. And we'll just put it right about there. Hopefully it's straight. Oh, not bad. Yay! Okay, stamping done. This one gets layered onto this piece of purple posy, but on dimensionals. Now you can put it flat on there and then pop up this whole thing if you want. I'm going to put the purple posy down flat and pop up the Whisper White piece, just for something different. Now the reason you need this popped up is because you need to have some kind of a stand to hold the card when you make it into an easel, when you fold it into the easel card. Okay. Okay, dokie. Where's my card? Hello card. There you are. So this just gets put right down at the bottom, like this. Oops. this piece doesn't have anything on it or underneath it. It's just goes straight onto the card base, but you could use a marker or a sponge or something around there if you want. I'm not going to take the time to do that. Oh, I think that one's, oh, perfect size. Perfect size. There we are. One more little piece. And we'll be ready to stick the inside in. Then we're almost done. We just have to put the bottom piece up on dimensionals and then put the butterflies on the front. Let's get this out of the way because it's got some adhesive on it. That Tombow glue, I love it. I use it a lot, but holy man, doesn't matter how careful you are. There's always glue on stuff. That's why I glue on extra things. So if you're wondering what to do with your old Stampin' Up! Catalog, save it and use it for a glue pad. So open a page up, do your gluing, and then put your pages together. They stick together and then you don't have glue everywhere. It really works well. Okay, so now we're going to line this up so that it's kind of the same distance here as that other one. Hopefully. It's moving all over the place. Apparently I didn't do it long enough, but that's okay. So leave a bigger gap at the bottom so you have somewhere to put your, don't go down yet. Thank you. Sure, that'll do. Don't get too picky. Gosh almighty, we'll be here all day. All right. Now this one, I need dimensionals on the back. I'm just going to cut up a few pieces of dimensional. Get them on here. You want to make sure it doesn't collapse. Piece there. You know me, sometimes I overkill my dimensionals, but I always figure better to have too many than not enough. So you don't want to have things buckling in the middle. Okay, so put those to the side and get this back out here. So we're going to put it on top of this piece of purple posy cardstock. Isn't that a gorgeous color? Don't you just love it? And I can't wait to make cards with it using Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. They're just going to line up so cool. All right, so now let's put this here, kind of eyeballing. Oh, a little bit. There we are. So now I'm just going to take this and fold it on that score line and use my bone folder and just give it a good burnishing there just to make sure it's all flat the way I want it. There we are. So then when you close it, see it sits right there on that. Isn't that cool? I love this card. So now we have to put the butterflies on. And you'll notice that they're only attached right here on top of this piece of white at the bottom because the rest of them are free floating. So what I did was I kind of lined it up and took a pencil and just drew lines where that white goes, so that when I put my adhesive on, and I'm going to need to use Tombow for this again, when I put my adhesive on, I'm not going to go above those lines because then I know that my adhesive is not going to be hanging out. And I'm doing a lot because this is all that holds the butterflies on, is this little bit of glue. There we are. Now I'll just give that a minute or two to go clear, get myself organized here again. So you could put a sentiment on this one too, but you don't really need it because when you open it like this, see the sentiment says hello. And you could put rhinestones on it. That would be cool. Maybe we need to pull the rhinestones out. Let's move this out of the way. Rhinestones or... let's see what we got. Metallic pearls? No. No. No sequins. No dots. No. Okay, rhinestones it is. And we'll put one here. And we'll put one here. And that's the end of that package. Get one of the big ones. Put it right there on the big one. And then there's a medium one. So I'll put it down here on the medium one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, you don't ever put things in even numbers. They always have to have odd numbers because it's more pleasing to the eye. So there we go. Now I'm just going to make a note on the back here that I used rhinestones. Just so you guys will have it in your recipe. All right, let's put this doodlebug on here. Oh, and you know what I didn't do? I completely forgot to cut that extra little bit off. There we go. Okay, so now, before you put the bottom down, just line it up. Sort of where you want it. You can't go above the card. You can't go off to the side. You have to make sure it all stays within the confines of the card or you won't get it in your envelope. There we are. Look at that. Just look at that. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? I'm trying to show it to you so you can see it. Look at this. Look, look. Oh, so exciting. Sometimes you can find some really cool cards on the internet. And I always figure, why should I reinvent the wheel when somebody's already gone to so much trouble to create them? I should just say thank you and use their ideas. Putting the rhinestones on. What a good idea that was. I'm sure you told me that by osmosis. Okay, card is finished. There we go. So there's the one we just made, and there's the original one. And I'll just stand this one up so that you can have a peek at what it looks like. So there we go. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. I love hearing from you. Drop me a line. There's my email address, gjmollet@shaw.ca. If you want to place an order, I'm happy to place it for you, or you can use my current host reward, and you can find that on my Facebook page, which is In My Craft Room Stamping with Glenda. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stamp and smiles, and bye for now.